Hi, my name is John, and I got a lot of positive feedback on a previous video that I had done regarding the modal samples, and everybody was generally kind about what they had to say. And so it got me to thinking, if I had more time, if maybe I would do another video in a similar fashion. And so I've oftentimes felt that doing small little reviews of modules that I come across would be kind of fun, kind of neat. And so I wanted to do another review on a module that I actually really enjoy. And it's taken me a while to really wrap my head around this particular module. And I'm not going to go too in depth with it. I'm going to show you how I use this module. And what we have here is the Strymon Magneto. Strymon Magneto. Of course, as I'm recording this, everybody decides to text me. So I'll be trying to do my best. Hopefully nobody interrupts what I'm trying to do here. So we got the Strymon Magneto. And this is a cool module. So I actually have two of them. As you can see, there's another one right over there. And the reason I have two of them is because at the time, there wasn't really any other module out there that I liked that was doing what this one singular guy was doing. Now, at the time when I bought these, the Verbis, the multi-tap delay was also coming out. And just recently, Pittsburgh Modular has just released their cascading delay, which I am very, very, very close to picking up. However, we're not here to talk about that. And also, too, the Mimeophone was not out yet when I bought these guys, which I have one down there somewhere, which you can't see. So anyways, so I wanted to talk about this a little bit, and I really enjoy this particular module. It's an interesting module that does delay differently. Now, as you can see, it's a 4-head tape and echo delay, and echo and looper. Now, this is kind of an interesting guy because it took me a while to wrap my head around what it actually was doing. And you'd think, well, it's kind of obvious, you should know how this works, but it kind of isn't exactly obvious. The manual's pretty extensive, and you see what Strymon's doing and how they're playing with it. But I just never felt that I was really wrapping my head around what it was doing. So I just kind of want to do a quick walkthrough about what's actually happening. So my setup right now is pretty simple. I have the Pittsburgh Modular Lifeforms KB1, which is quite fantastic, by the way. I have it set to a single, just one, this one right there, the primary oscillator, which, by the way, these are awesome, going into a XAOC Belgrade. And then from there, it's envelope being made by the Roland 540, VCA, the Tip Top Audio VCA, which is a very nice VCA. It's very simple. Actually very, very flexible too. I've grown to enjoy it. And then right into here, and we're going to kind of get to it. So if you're kind of wondering what's going on, and that's the setup. So I'm going to push a button or tap the capacitive touch. You hear what's happening. It's pretty simple and basic. Let's turn up some volume a little bit. Now this is what's interesting about this one. If you notice here, there's a little green light right there. I'm going to turn the record. Now what that actually does, we still have it going through dry. And of course, if I turn dry down, it goes away. So that's pretty self-explanatory. But record, you have to really think about this like a tape machine, which is something that was very foreign to me. I've kind of, I'm coming at this from guitar pedals and delay. It's like, okay, to me, delay means echo. But in tape world, delay means something entirely different. It gets an echo effect, but basically what it is actually saying is that the playback is being delayed through a tape. Now this is emulating for a 4-head tape machine. And that's kind of cool. So what's actually going on here is that you have the signal going in, and it's kind of emulating that it's going through a tape looper. Now, I'll give you an example. So I will just set that right there, okay? And you have to have this wet right here. So now I'm going to turn up one of the heads. And, whoops, I forgot to turn up the recording level. Because you had to record, right? Hey. Okay. And then we're going to turn up here. So you see what's happening. So when you're recording through, it's playing first, second, third, fourth. And then and that's kind of neat, right? And then we can slow down the tape. And then you've got 4 pings. And then you can, or you can make it go really slow. One, two, three, 4. Well, 5 actually, because you have your initial dry signal, but if I were to do it. Okay, so you get 4 little pings. And that's kind of cool. Now, that is like the most general basic function. Now, the one thing that was throwing me off here was this little guy right here, repeat, right? And it took me a while to realize that repeat isn't actually going to continually repeat anything because we're still kind of like in tape recording mode. So this is where this guy gets a little bit interesting because now what happens is you kind of, well, we'll turn these back down again. Okay, so there's your ding ding. You're wearing it, and you can get some really neat. Okay, so we're kind of fiddling with the speed. But what happens if I do this? Now we're starting to have a traditional delay and that's kind of neat. And then we could do that right here. Then we can do that right here. Now you hear it's actually a longer delay than the delay over here. So you're kind of sort of getting, you're basically getting 4 delays at different points in the tape head. Now understand, when I'm doing this, I'm kind of explaining this kind of sort of for your benefit. I'm also explaining it for my benefit because as I do this, it helps me to understand a little bit more about what's actually happening. And we're talking about like the most truest and basic of functions. This is not meant to be a comprehensive explanation of what's happening. I'm just trying to, give you a little show about what this is actually doing. And then do there. Okay, that's pretty basic. We understand that. So, like I said, if we go here, get all 4 tape heads. 1, 2, 3, 4. Repeat doesn't do anything. That drove me nuts trying to figure out the head. And I guess, yeah, it's like, you read the manual and you're like, oh, okay, but then you're actually practically doing it. And it kind of sort of gets a little, jumbled up in your head. So I'm more of I can show you what this is doing as opposed to let me just read you the manual. So what would happen if I compared 2 delays? So now you're kind of doing this playback level, but now you've got 2 different delays at 2 different points in the tape. And then, of course, I can add more, and then I can add more. And then I could just increase the repeat. And you're hearing it kind of bounce around, eventually decay out of the way. Or not, or just kind of accumulate. There we go. And that's actually what's really going on with this thing. Now, there's a dip switch in the back and I have this set up for the transport functions right here, which this little cable right here, if you go from clock number 4 clock out, I think it's 4 o'clock out to the play, it'll actually, when you're using the loop and the sample feature, it'll actually play itself back that way, and that's how it's patched up like that, which is why the little red light's blinking. But we're not going to get into that right now. So like I said, I just wanted to kind of show you, as a general idea, how this works as a straightforward delay. And you can also add some reverb to it, which is really nice. And what's interesting about this is that you've got your tap button right here, but the way I have it clocked right now, it's using the clock out from the life forms, and it's kind of, keeping it all synced together. And it's a super, super, super nice delay. And it's taken me a while to really kind of appreciate what it's doing and how it's operating. You get some really cool textures out of it. And that's not even talking about the even, the triplet, or the shift, or whatever. It's just, this is... Yikes, yikes, yikes. Sorry about that. Got a little loud. So yeah, so that is the Strymon Magneto 4-head tape, echo, and looper in a nutshell. And you could, I mentioned the dip switches in the back. Each one of these can be triggered with an external source, so you could actually like have it gated to go on and off and do all sorts of kind of neat things. And you would use these down here. The transport features would switch around. I didn't particularly like that. It wasn't how I like to use it. But it's a very simple flick of a switch, and you change the function with it. And you could do some really interesting things with the Verbus analog shift register, because it actually has 4 outs, which you can't see. Here, I'll move it around so you can actually see right there. And then you could do some really interesting things with it, and it would just kind of turn the delays on and off. So yeah, so that is the Magneto, the 4-head tape, echo, and looper, and I hope you enjoyed this short little walkthrough, and perhaps when I have the opportunity, I will do another. Thank you very much, and hope you have a wonderful day.